Honey, is Candace Owens just going too far with her allegations about the unaliving of Charlie Kirk? Or does she actually know something the rest of us don't? Because the way she's been talking lately, it's starting to sound less like commentary and more like a direct challenge to the people she claims are hiding the truth. She's out here disregarding a gag order from a judge, threatening to drop hints about culprits, and promising to expose names that apparently the public isn't supposed to know. Sheesh! She's been on a roll, y'all. So, recently, she claimed that an Egyptian Air Force plane flew out of Utah on September 10th after Charlie Kirk was hit. She wrote, "On September 10th, after Charlie's assassination, an Egyptian Air Force plane flew out of Provo, Utah. Tail number SUBTT. Its first trip to America ever was made on July 20th to an Army base in Nebraska. Tyler Robinson must have had some powerful friends. With all we have crowdsourced, it looks like a decision to unalive Charlie Kirk in Utah was made around July 18th. A military meeting with foreign leaders took place on July 20th on U.S. soil. The plane flew into Provo direct from France on September 4th and stayed until just after Charlie was assassinated, flying out to Wilmington on that day. The plane returned home to Egypt the following day on September 11th. We now need to re-examine which foreign leaders were in the United States during this approximate timeframe, or what happened in the news leading up to this that may have led to someone calling for his unaliving." Basically, according to what Candace believes, this was not a lone shooter scenario. It was a military operation orchestrated by some very powerful people. However, after a bit of digging, people realized that the plane in question did leave from Provo on September 10th, but it was at 7 a.m. local time, well before Kirk was even unalived. Well, even after her gaffe with the time zones, Candace Owens doubled down and wrote on X, "Given the artificial boost of the Snopes-like debunking of the Egyptian military flight, it is clear they are panicked about its discovery." She even added some more questions asking, who were the people dropped off when the flight arrived into Provo? How many people were on the manifest for its return flight on September 10th? So, at the time, Candace didn't drop any names, but she's actually promised to do so despite a gag order that has been issued by a judge with regards to the case. The thing is, a judge issued a gag order on proceedings saying that anyone associated with the case is supposed to be forbidden from speaking to the news media. The judge said, "The court will rule that as those witnesses become known to each side, that information is conveyed to abide by this order." Obviously, there are potentially many witnesses, and it's not the expectation that you would do that up front, but as they become known. Regardless of who is watching, whether it is the nation or a single individual, we must fulfill our roles with integrity, civility, and diligence. I encourage each of you to give your very best to this case. Neither Mr. Robinson nor the people of Utah deserve anything less than the fair and impartial administration of justice. However, the gag order doesn't look like it'll stop Candace Owens, who took to X to defiantly say, "Don't worry about the gag order in the Charlie Kirk case. I plan to violate it on the world's behalf. The things I've discovered this past week are enough to burn the house down." Yes, Charlie was betrayed by everyone. She's actually said a bunch of things even before the gag order, and the first thing Candace posted about Charlie's death was this. Charlie Kirk was fighting with some very powerful billionaires that he took money from over things he was discussing. The pressure on him was immense over the last 2 weeks. The truth will be revealed, the messages will be leaked, and the movement he built will rise up. Well, true to her word, she posted and referenced alleged leaked text messages and screenshots that she said came from people close to Kirk, arguing those show donor friction, and that donors pulled funding after Kirk's comments about Israel. Apparently, Charlie was discussing Jewish donors pulling funding over his links to Tucker Carlson, and based on the screenshot, Kirk said that he had lost a $2 million donation from a Jewish donor over his refusal to disinvite the conservative commentator Tucker Carlson from his America Fest.
Charlie was done with Israel bullying him, and I am now going to present you proof of what I am saying. This is an actual group chat, which happened 2 days before Charlie Kirk was assassinated. There were 9 people in total on this chat, including Charlie and Rob McCoy. I'm going to protect the names of the other 7 for now. To be clear, I might actually release a name every day this week, but I want to show you this because suffice it to say, Rob McCoy was on this text thread, and I think it helps contextualize him as a person, in my view, that he would attack me for telling the truth about the pressure that he was facing.
Actually, after she said this, Turning Point USA spokesman Andrew Colvett said the screenshot is authentic and even said that he was really excited that the truth is out there. And the only reason he didn't share that screen grab publicly is that it was a private exchange. Andrew also said Kirk's feelings about Israel were complicated and nuanced, and he wanted the war in Gaza to end.
Didn't share this publicly. It was because this was a private message between Charlie and some people, some Jews and non-Jews, where he was, frustrated. He was frustrated, and that would have felt like a betrayal to my friend because he never said anything like that publicly in like a show, right?
So, as much as people were accusing Candace of being a conspiracy theorist, one thing is that she did not lie about the text messages. Based on what she said, the Israel lobby, or certain pro-Israel donors, played a role in creating the circumstances that led to Kirk's death. And she even named and implicated Bill Ackman in the context of donor pressure in her podcast. Well, Bill denied this allegation, and in a post he wrote, "This afternoon, Candace slandered me by accusing me of staging an intervention with Charlie Kirk, in which threats were made with respect to his supposed evolving stance on Israel at an event I hosted in the Hamptons. Candace also intimated that I blackmailed Charlie. For the record, at no time have I ever threatened Charlie Kirk, Turning Point, or anyone associated with him. I have never blackmailed anyone, let alone Charlie Kirk. I have never offered Charlie or Turning Point any money in an attempt to influence Charlie's opinion on anything. In fact, my interactions with Charlie Kirk have been extremely cordial, albeit limited, regretfully so, as I was very impressed by him and his work, and I will sadly never see him again." Anywho, Candace then accused federal investigators of withholding information or not being fully transparent and framing parts of the official response as a cover-up.
He was a very much, and maybe this is a poor way of saying it, a straight shooter, said, yes, I have training, and I don't want to give too many identifying details here, but this person himself has a lot of experience with guns and knows and, helps to train people in that sort of a capacity, and said that they observed that individual, the FBI saying that the shooter dropped onto the roof at 12:15 didn't make sense to him. He said earliest it was 12:22 that the individual ran across, set up, took the shot, and I said, well, you must have been there, because he then sends me I wanted to see all of the metadata of when he took that footage, and the metadata begins at 12:22 and goes into 12:23, the very minute that Charlie gets shot. And he says, yeah, I saw the shot. I had just stopped recording about 20 seconds before the shot rang out. And he said that he told them a description of what the shooter looked like, and it was not the description that the entire world received less than 24 hours later of this person, Tyler Robinson, wearing jeans. I said,
remember, Candace also perpetuated the idea that there's a massive federal cover-up, with Tyler Robinson apparently being framed by the feds. She believes that Tyler is innocent and that the Trump administration fabricated the entire narrative, from the allegation that he wants to unalive himself to his father's supposed confession. Candace also questioned how Tyler Robinson was willing to turn himself in but did not confess, and she also questioned how the firearm belonged to Tyler, yet he is not an enthusiast, and she also said Tyler does not use words like vehicle as presented by his text messages. In fact, Candace also said Tyler's father does not even believe that his son did it. She actually also questioned the puzzling decision of the FBI to send their Connecticut agents to Utah, noting that the reasoning remains unclear. Then she highlighted a concerning pattern among witnesses who readily recounted how Tyler Robinson was apprehended. All of them, she noted, have connections to law enforcement. In fact, Candace also claimed that her source told her that Tyler Robinson did not even set foot on the Utah Valley University campus. In addition, Candace also noted that the law enforcement account of Tyler's arrest seemed strange, as it focused excessively on the details of who assisted in locating him and questioned why that person's identity was being kept secret. The other thing Candace mentioned was that Tyler went to Dairy Queen 17 minutes after the attack, and Candace connected the dots with the Dairy Queen photo and exclaimed at how a cold-blooded person like him would stop to have an ice cream after unaliving someone. Then she insinuated that Tyler was at Dairy Queen, from where he was framed for the incident. And guess what? Candace also apparently got info from someone about the firearm that was used, and what this person told her contradicts everything the FBI said. Speaking of Tyler, in new court documents, it was revealed that his mother had told police that she had seen a photo of the culprit in the news and thought the culprit looked like her son. As a result, she called Robinson and asked him where he was, to which he said that he was at home sick and that he had also been at home sick on September 10th, which was the date of the incident. Could Candace actually be on to something? Okay, another thing that Candace said was that Kirk predicted his own death and that 3 people told her off record about this.
Express that to me, so I am telling you this based off the testimony of 3 people. And I am saying this because I hope that these people who I think are good will be inspired to come forward with that. Again, those conversations I had were off record. I honor that. If I say it's off record, it stays off record. But I'm hoping that watching what I am doing and feeling the energy that is rising across the world for people who want to know what the heck happened on 9/10, that, they will be brave and they will say, yeah, Charlie did the day before he died think that he was going to be killed, and maybe tell us, who is they? Well, for once and for all, who is they? Who is the they that he thought were going to kill him?
In addition, Candace also mocked how Erica Kirk was doing photo shoots right after Charlie died. And Erica actually responded by saying that there's no blueprint to grief. In her words, there is no linear blueprint for grief. One day, you're collapsed on the floor, crying out the name Jesus in between labored breaths. The next, you're playing with your children in the living room, surrounded by family photos, and feeling a rush of something you can only attempt to define as divinely planted and bittersweet joy, as a smile breaks through on your face. They say time heals, but love doesn't ask to be healed. Love asks to be remembered. It's humbling to realize that this magnitude of suffering didn't steal my love for my husband. It amplified it. It crystallized it. Well, now Candace has straight up said that she will disregard the gag order from the judge and drop some names. She already said that she believes former Utah gubernatorial candidate Phil Lyman was involved with what happened to Kirk. So maybe let's wait and see if she's gonna drop more names. Baby, for me, when it comes to Candace, I honestly don't know what to believe and what not to believe. Is she trying to blow the whistle on something deeper, or just stirring chaos for clicks and clout? And if she really is sitting on evidence, why hasn't she released it yet? What's stopping her? Fear, legal threat, or maybe strategy? And also, why is she so confident about disregarding a direct order from a judge? One thing's for sure, whatever game Candace Owens is playing, she's making sure the whole world is watching, because she's literally been at the top on Spotify with her many podcasts about Charlie. I don't know how far she plans to take this or whether she has real evidence, but you let me know what you think about what she has said in the comments section below.